said, Peecher. I'm with Together Chicago, and I'm also part of the Peace Campaign. The Peace Campaign is a role model of how and why we're doing what we're doing. Back in the mid-2000s, 2008, there was a spate of shootings around our church. And I screamed at God, shaking my fist. I know I'm the only one that does that, but I was upset. What's going to happen? The Lord said, make peace happen. He said, blessed are the peacemakers, they shall be called the sons of God. And so there was a corner on 59th and Normal where the gangster disciples and the black disciples were across the street from each other. And long story short, we came out to that site on Friday nights from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. And we occupied that space. And by the end of that summer, the crime rate had gone to 0 in that area. And that year, the 7th district where that church was experienced a 15% reduction in crime. We take all the credit for it. We give all the glory to God, but we take all the credit for it. But we were standing on that corner. We created the zero crime pocket, and we did that year after year. What I learned from that is when we show up, we bring the Lord with us. He said, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst, and he's the Prince of Peace. He makes peace happen when the church shows up. And the whole impetus of Together Chicago is to mobilize the church to get out of the seats and into the streets. This is Dr. Kohng. He's going to give us the technical terms of what I just said.
That's what professors do, you know.
Thank you, Bishop. And it's incredible to hear like how God was using him and his congregation to really affect the local environment and his local context. And local leaders already know this in terms of what I'm going to talk about. But there's this researcher, Robert Sampson, who used to be at the University of Chicago, now at Harvard. And he did the largest longitudinal study of urban neighborhoods. And he particularly did this in the city of Chicago. And what he did is he just tracked a bunch of different metrics to see what is it that changes, why is it some neighborhoods may rebound from violence or acts of violence, and in some neighborhoods it just kind of feels like the violence is sticky there. And what's the difference between one neighborhood to the next? And they control for race, class, etc. So you could have 2 neighborhoods of the same racial, socioeconomic demographic, and why is it that one neighborhood is experiencing more violence that continues to perpetuate and the other isn't? This is the billion-dollar question, right, that everyone wants to figure out. Like, what's the difference between these 2 neighborhoods if they're all essentially just the same on every other level? And what he found is that neighborhoods where there was violence was not sticky and it wasn't perpetuating, they had 2 characteristics. One was social cohesion, and social cohesion wasn't just the neighbors themselves, but among like neighborhood leaders like Bishop Peecher. And then the second element it had was something called shared expectation for social control. This idea that, you know, if you're in a neighborhood and you see someone throw down some trash, there's some places where if you do that, everyone's going to give you side eye, they're going to look at you and you feel guilty and you pick it up, right? Ideally, we would all pick it up. And so shared expectation for social control, social cohesion, is what he called collective efficacy. And that's the difference between a neighborhood that was really hemorrhaging from violence versus neighborhoods that weren't. And so this is essentially the framework for building blocks. The idea that it's all these leaders are getting together, sharing best practices, learning from one another, learning from Bishop Peecher, that's building social cohesion, but also it's increasing everyone's shared expectation for social control as local leaders are in churches are out and about in different neighborhoods and really expressing what they want to see. So that's the essence, that's the framework for building blocks.
Thank you.
Thank you.